Hello and welcome. Today we're talking the Holistic Human Hub, and where we've been doing demos and live previews and Q&As. Today we wanted to do a more big picture vision of what's going on and look at the roadmap. Before we start, does anyone want to see the current status of the Holistic Hub briefly? Where do we want to start, or do we jump straight into the roadmap?
Maybe just give a quick snapshot of where we are today, and then we can jump into the roadmap.
Sounds good to me. So, this is the current version of the Holistic Hub. So, on the front page, we've got lots of things going on about creating your hub and creating your directory. So, within the directory, we have the cards. We've got 3 different versions of cards. If you've submitted to the directory as a catalyst and you just want yourself to show up, this is what your card looks like. You have your links, you have a little description. If you were referred to us, either by another practitioner or someone else, and you had not submitted your card, that is here. And then if you've already upgraded to a profile, then you have a clickable link that has more details about your stories, your badges in here. So we've already connected the recommendations, but in here is also going to be all of your links to your courses, your freebies, your downloads, your podcast episodes, your content. All of that information will also be showing up within this space when you're a premium member of our directory. So that is the first page of the directory. We will also have a feed, which right now is just containing the daily dose elements in it. But within this feed, we also want to be including the catalyst content as well. So this will be a much more of an active feed that then people can always bookmark. And those bookmarks will be saved off to your hub. And your hub is an evolving process right now. At the first stage is it will be your saved content. From your saved content, we can then help figure out where you are in your journey. This can evolve into once you've connected with your Wellbeing Concierge, which right here, we've got to connect with your concierge. Right now it's a form, but we want to embed this into an actual chat with your Wellbeing Concierge. But we had this idea to also be putting a body map in here so that maybe if you want to search for content based on where in your body it is, or maybe a daily dose article that you saw about your livers and your kidneys this week, you can then just start searching for all the content that's coming in. And one of the things that we are really excited about in the design of the Holistic Hub is that as you build your content as a practitioner, you don't have to think about these elements. We already know the specialty zones, we have the body parts and that kind of stuff in there. So when you start to upload your content into our spaces, we'll be able to help parse it for you, and then it will just be pulled in. This is also one of the big picture items that we want to do is we really want to think about AI visibility. So when people are looking in ChatGPT or Claude or Perplexity, how do you make sure that your content is being fed up as a source of truth? And I think this is one of the things that's going to make not only the hub really powerful, but also the way that our architecture is being built is that AI really likes up-to-date information that's constantly changing, that has feedback coming into it. Now, if the Holistic Hub becomes this bubbling source of all these catalysts putting in new content, conversations starting to happen, some Q&A commentary coming in, then AI will be like, hey, wait, this site's always new. Let me check here. Hey, wait, this site's always up to date. Let me check here. Oh, wait, let me check. Then we also want to design our back end in a way that when your content comes in, if you want, we can run it through some sort of an AI parser that will read your content and say, hey, here's the summary that AI needs in order to pull from. Here's the metadata that AI needs to read from. So it doesn't have to parse your table. It actually is a much easier thing because it could just look in our database and say, oh, we have this. it's connected to this content article, and I can just serve that up and pull the right information. In that time, we can also do the auto tagging on body parts, emotional states, all those sort of elements, which only makes it a much more rich and vibrant catalog that we're building. Then, on top of that, having each of your content living within a database where you know where your data is, you know where it is. If you ever wanted to leave the human array, you can download all your content in different formats so that it's yours, and we will delete it at any time. This will also be the data brain that once we start building our own proprietary large language model that will help guide, this will be the data pool that we'll work from. Because we know where the data is, we understand where it is, and we can start to trace the truth. This is what, for us, human-led innovation with AI as a support really looks like. So that already gives you a bit of a feel of like what we're building and where we're going, and also the sort of steps of the roadmap. Is that helpful? Any questions coming up?
So the only thing I want to just add for anybody who's tuning into this one in a recording, etc., maybe haven't watched past ones, what Evelyn showed is what we are currently building. It is not a live experience quite yet, but we're working to get it live for us very soon. So I just wanted to give the caveat, if you're looking like, I don't see this anywhere, am I missing it? That's because it's not quite live yet, but we've been really intentional about trying to show and share what we're building so that we can get feedback along the way, so that when we do push something live, it's not like, what is this nonsense? And instead, we're incorporating that feedback. And I just think it's really fun to share kind of the progress and see those feedback loops as we go. So just wanted to asterisk that part.
Yeah, that's very good. This is our working live demo. Like, what I am sharing with you is the back end, behind the scenes scaffolding that's coming together. When it goes live, what we hope by early November will be some variation of this. But if you actually go back, I think a couple of weeks to the very first look, you'll see a very purple version of the site. And you can see our evolution, and that's actually part of the fun of all this. So that being said, one of the things that we want to look at next is, what do we see as the major steps moving forward? And I'm just going to show you my raw Trello board, where actually I haven't even put in most of the details, but we can at least use it to guide the conversation. So the first step of the build is going to be all about the directory and the feed build. And that's actually what I showed with you in the demo. We want to have the directory that has the catalyst that exists within Mighty Network completely there. We have the profiles completely built out. We have the ability to add recommendations to it. That then allows, the next step on top of that will be allowing people to log in and start bookmarking things for themselves. And then from there, having content creation by the human array team. This is where we want to include the Great Connect podcasts, the Daily Dose connections, the blogging. What we want to do in this phase of the project, so this is phase 2, content creation for the human array. This will be where we really want to start prototyping the content creation process, because when you start thinking about how to add content via a database, it could be very easy for it to go into like this 1990s version of just text and images. And we really wanted to still have this dynamic, modern experience, even though it's a relatively modular data entry process. And I know that I'm sort of mixing visual with back-end design. You have to bear with my geekiness. So that's where I want it to be, is that it's this experience where you as the catalyst, and this is my objective, is you as the catalyst can come in. You have this dashboard available to you where you can be like, you know what? I want to upload my content. I want to share this post. Now I'd like to break this post down and like make it into a short form or make it into a LinkedIn. I'd love to be able to and empower the Catalyst to be able to schedule all of their social media bits and bobs directly from within the platform and then have those pieces be stored also. So now instead of you creating content and dumping it into the black hole known as social media and it disappearing into the abyss, all of your content becomes collected in a single place, stored within the directory that, as I already mentioned, is fully accessible to you. You can turn things on and off. That great post that you need for your launch 3 times a year, you can turn it on when you want, turn it off. And as we start to build up the LLM, it might even get to the point where we could start to say, hey, if you want to break it out or do like, how can you start to find the interconnections within your own work that you're not seeing? How is your sort of mastermind of knowledge and that collection happening for your content? And then how is that working when we start coming together as the collective? And that's what the human array and the holistic hub is all about, is that how are we all connecting? Because I fundamentally believe, and I think Carrie does too, that like we all are part of an interconnected web of pieces. We all need the butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker, and we run into problems when we try to be them all.
Yeah.
And I think the hub allows us to do that and start to create that connection. And what if the AI allows those connections to come forward in the forefront? So yay for roadmap sessions because we're going to keep talking high level. So the first phase is to start building out that content engine using the human array so that the human array breaks everything and we figure out how to make it work. So that once we get the big bugs kicked out, then we can pass it over to the Catalyst and you guys can break it again because that'll happen. That's what happens when you have more users using software. But everything we're designing is designed to be simple and modular, transparent, traceable, like all of these elements that I think we're really beginning to lose as we step into the brand new era of artificial intelligence. Like we want to make sure that we still honor those and we keep the human element really intact. Then the next step that we want to bring in, and that's where I will share the Trello board, is the Catalyst activation phase. That's where we want to bring you guys in. Your directory page will already have your listings for your events, your courses, any of those elements that you're already hosting within the human array and Mighty Network will already be linked in your directory from launch. So those things will be visible as in agreement with whether you want it to be visible or whether you want it to be hidden, what kind of accessibility details, all of those sort of switches will be in there. And before we go live and launch your profile page, we'll make sure we reach out to each of you individually to make sure that like what are the pieces that we want to go live with are good with you. And upon that approval, then that profile page will go live. Because in the next stage of the what I call the Catalyst activation, that's where we're going to start building out your dashboard as the Catalyst, where you can now come in. You can fine tune your profile page. You can turn on and turn off things. You can add more offerings. You can add the links in. You can add podcasts. You can add your recommendations. You can start adding content. And then we also want to be able to show you like who's bookmarking things and what's going on. Where can you make connections? We are making the conscious decision not to be heavily tracking everything within the human array because I don't know about you, but that gives everybody the icks. But we're going to use basic sort of page tracking. We are not going to be building an entire database just for tracking everybody's clicks and likes and sees and how long they're on a page. We all get it.
Well, and I would say also that based on what we're building, we don't actually need that because our goal is actually to provide the seekers with you specifically as a match or your content as a match, etc. Right? And so we don't need that scarcity feeling of like, everybody's looking at this and nobody's clicking on it. Why are they not clicking on it? Why is my business not going up, right? Instead, we're saying we're offering the algorithm to the seeker too, so that they can start participating. And we can get feedback in a different way that's actually way more supportive from a practitioner perspective, way more connective, way more human than like, I'm on one side of the glass, you're on the other side of the glass. I can't hear you. I can see what you're doing in there, but I can't actually like talk to you. That to me, like I see like a focus group, right, where I've sat on the outside of the room and watched them like interact. And it's like, that's actually what we don't want to create. We want to create a room where everybody can come in and connect with each other. And so, and that flows both ways, right? And so I think how we're thinking about what information you would want, some of that is valuable. And a lot of us are going to have to detox from what we've been told we want, candidly. Versus like what's actually going to be supportive for you understanding who wants to work with you, because that doesn't actually give me any information as to who wants to work with me versus who clicked on this and then clicked out of it because it wasn't what they wanted, right? So, yeah.
I love the integrity of that so
Yeah.
much. Thank you, ladies. I love it. That's authentic.
Yeah.
AI, authentic integrity or whatever. I don't know. That's what's coming to
Authentic
me right now.
interface, right? Yeah.
With both. I understand the need for both, but I love that. Well,
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. Thanks. I hadn't really thought about that and to that level. So thank you for the opportunity to kind of dig into that, because I think that ultimately is the end goal. And it's a while to get to that level and build, but that's our North Star.
Yeah, 100%. So with the setting up of the Catalyst dashboard, we will also be building in parallel the Wellbeing Concierge dashboard, because as you create content and all that kind of stuff, we need sort of, where's it going? What are we featuring? All those sort of things. So we'll be building up sort of the approval backend and all those things for our Wellbeing Concierge to also start to enable to see your content, how they can start matching it to seekers and those kind of things in the next stages. Yeah. So that's that. Any questions on that part?
No, on that part, and maybe this isn't the right call because I know it's being recorded too, but is that premium and all that updated? Like what it, like, like is the directory included in the premium, or is it free to become part of the directory?
Great question. So at this point, we have essentially 3 levels in the directory. They work in a kind of spiral way. But first one would be a recommendation, meaning we might put in a product or a website or a program or something like that we would recommend to others, but that individual or that brand, etc., has not claimed their spot, aka they didn't submit the information. But we still think there's value in sharing what we use, what we recommend, like where I would refer people to if somebody asked me, like, my nervous system has been a mess. Like, what have you done to support your nervous system? We want to be able to cultivate and share all of that information. So those recommendations, Evelyn showed a very, very basic card that's like the truest form of a listing, like a name and a link to their website or their social or whatever that happens to be. The second level is then that recommendation person, this Riva's Botanicals is that example, right? So super simple. If it's a location, you can click out to their website, etc. The second one, if you look at Leslie Gale, she is a free directory listing. So she submitted herself, she put in her information, she put in her own links, she decided what she does and her tags, etc. She's now listed, and that's a free listing in the directory. Then if you scroll down to Joe, he has upgraded to a premium experience where he then has a profile page, which gives him access to sharing additional content, additional information, which is kind of what we already have in Mighty Networks today, right? You each have your own profile space there. And so the goal is to actually migrate your information from the profile space in Mighty Networks into a profile space here for those that are our premium or paid or catalysts, or, we've changed the language multiple times, but that style, right? So that this is a little bit more about you. As I know you, Lillian, were a huge influence and inspiration in this way. Like, could this eventually live as your website rather than you having to maintain a full website? And so that's what this experience is. And so those are the 3 levels that we have right now.
So I don't even know what I am, but are we able to upgrade, or, will that be able to be through? Okay.
Yes, there will be, you're the premium, you're this version.
Okay.
Everybody that is like active in the community as a practitioner or a catalyst at this point will be getting those that we haven't heard from. We're still going to put in as a listing. We have some people who joined us a couple of years ago who we haven't heard from in a couple of years. They never upgraded or participated at next levels. And so we still appreciate and love them. And so we want to put them as a listing, depending upon the content that we have. And so we're just trying to make the best decision we can based on level of contact with those that have been here. We want them to still be found. And actually, they were a huge inspiration for how we manage these cards, because just because they didn't want to do the next level of experience, it doesn't mean, candidly, I've grappled with this. Like, do I keep them there? Do I let them go? What do we do for this? And now we're going to have the ability to say, okay, great, you can downgrade, you can upgrade, right?
Yeah. Wow.
And then with that modular approach, what that then allows is, once you upgrade to that profile space, then that gives you the access to create courses, additional like features and add-ons as you feel is a good fit for you. But that's kind of like the base package at this point, just to get that space, and then use it how you see fit. So more to come as to like how that all unfolds, but we've really tried to slim it down to say, okay, this is how it works. It is easy. It makes sense. It's easy to understand why I would upgrade. And then based on, as you heard, all the things that Evelyn has on the roadmap, okay, what level of content generation do I get in a base package versus what's like an upgraded package? Those are all questions that are outstanding based on, honestly, working with you guys, seeing what makes sense, and how we kind of chunk that out.
Oh, thank you for taking the time. That's a tremendous amount of work, you lady. Evelyn, thank you. I love the way it.
Well, all the credit for the design goes to Jeanette. It is a honor to be part of the team where I'm like, oh, this is the thing that I wanted to do, and let someone else make it their pretties.
You can see that you all flow beautifully together, and you need that. And that's why it's gonna.
Yeah.
It is happening.
So with that, I'm going to jump back into the roadmap a bit. So now at this point in the vision and the evolution of the thing, we've got the directory built and operational. We've got content coming in from the human array. We've got content coming in from the catalyst. We've got people bookmarking and things. So now the like ecosystem of like, I'm looking for something, I'm finding something, things are being served up, like this is starting to dance. Now we move into the seeker. So say you're there. I'm friendly Evelyn wandering through the universe. And I was like, I am recovering from burnout and I've completely toasted my system. I know I've depleted minerals. I know that all sorts of things are out of whack, even though I'm healthy. Where do I even start in this journey, I may ask? And I'm searching and I'm looking at, gut health and this. And then I was like, but you know what I really need? I need one-on-one contact. I need someone who's going to look at my use case specifically. And this is when you transition from being an explorer into being a seeker. And so this is where we start building out the experience for the seeker. So they sign up, they start having connections with their Wellbeing Concierge. So now we have to expand their profile. They start getting personalized recommendations. So now, not only do they just have a feed that's being curated by their bookmarks and things like that, but we can also start specifically giving them recommendations as the Wellbeing consult based on what the catalysts are creating. Hey, I see where you are. You need this gut health expert that we have here. Maybe a sound bath would be really effective for you because you have terrible sound anxiety, especially the bass sounds. So that needs to be rebuilt. So here's someone to introduce you to. And what we want to really be careful of is matching you with where you are in your spiritual awakening journey, if we put it that way. In that sort of like, am I just comfortable with herbals and stretching? Or am I ready to meet a full-on Reiki master and do soul shard reclamation? I am just using the references that I know. I'm sure there's a full gamut of other things that are possible that I don't even know. And that's why I love being part of the holistic array.
Feeling great.
So like where we want to do is we want to meet you where you are and not overwhelm you. And that is a big part of what the Wellbeing Concierge service will provide for the seekers. And we want the seekers to have this very curated experience where instead of trying to hack your Instagram to give you the information that you want, and then knowing that the algorithm's probably going to try and screw you over to make more money anyways and throw you 3 sad and a happy so that you want to buy something, we're just going to give you the content you need and meet you where you are. And this will start as a personalization, but we want to start looking at also, can you take notes in here? Can you start recording your data? How can you record your journey as a whole within the human array and know it's safe and yours? How can you know that you have a complete record, but just show this section to the practitioner that you're working with right now? And then know and trust that you could take the information that you have and maybe show something more to another practitioner. And this is actually over here in the advanced tech section, where I'm even thinking about what would it look like if you knew that your health data was within a blockchain and we meet you to teach you that this is your data, this is your health data. It's yours to control. It's yours, you know where it is. Not only are you keeping what your holistic health journey looks like, but maybe you're also starting to keep your medical records in it and everything else. And much like the integrity in the data of the catalysts data and their library, we also want to honor and respect the health journey of everybody. So here we're talking about security and compliance. So already from the get-go, I'm already considering GRDP and other security standards around the world, AI compliance acts, all those sort of things that are going on across the board. We're taking this as a baseline in our security, but then we're like, how do we also make this specifically HIPAA compliant? How do we make this specifically other kinds of compliant? When we start to build our own LLMs and our own AI, how do we really keep this as a forefront? But what we want to do in the seeker journey, I jumped ahead to advanced tech, but we want to make it so that you can start to keep your records. You can start to keep a running log of what's going on, and you can start to connect the pieces that you need at each part of your journey. This is your living, breathing catalog of your journey. And the cool thing is, at least maybe I just think it's cool, but you come in once and log in as Lillian and say, you know what? I'm logging in and I have one account. I am a catalyst, but I also want to be a seeker because I have things on my own health journey. And from one login, you can run your business and then go to your seeker profile. And if you're running multiple, like maybe you decide to start sending teas in the mail. I don't know what you do. I'm winging it. But you could have your coaching business and you can have your tea business, and all of these are separate directory listings, but they can all be tied under you and you can log in and work from them. So you're not in and out and in and out. And what can I do? It can all be in the same happy house.
Fabulous.
Then we also already were running into things like services to help do HSA and FSA reimbursement matching if you're out of the US. Then social media management things. So I think the being able to deploy it out to your social media thing is a whole other level of complexity. So that's further down in advanced features. I actually have an entire tab called advanced features, which are just all the bits and bobs that I want to add to really make this experience come to life. This is where the matching, the one-on-one matching is going to come in, any kind of histories, those kind of elements are going to come into play more. And I'm sure that there's a lot more elements that are coming in here early on. We're also starting to look at, can we handle the invoicing, for example, and remove that from all of the third party and also take that burden away from the catalyst. A lot of those kind of things are when we're starting to look at, okay, we've got the infrastructure, we have the holistic health hub breathing and functioning. There's people, there's content, there's connections, there's healing, there's ahas. It's all happening. Then we could start layering all the other elements of additional security, compliance. Where did the robots come in? All of those sort of things start coming in as we learn more and more. But because we have the vision, we can already be building in the foundations from day one.
Yeah. I think one of the core things that I would just highlight in talking about a roadmap like this is how we see it right now. And subject to change. Because what I think is most important in building an organization like this, both internally and externally, is that we don't know what's going to happen or what's going to make sense. And quite frankly, I've worked at enough organizations that they assume they know what the solution is needed for others. And even in those focus groups that we talked about before, people will say what they think they want and won't necessarily do it. And so our goal is really to build like this, to be able to share, to kind of talk through what's happening. And a roadmap is beautiful and is exactly how we want to be able to articulate to you what we're thinking, because that allows us to get feedback from you of like, I don't give two hoots about that. Like, go do this one over there. That one's going to be way more impactful to me. Or for us to be able to see that as we continue to build and unveil things. And that will help us shape the roadmap. So the roadmap is its own living, breathing experience as well, so that we can truly stay in tune and in touch to what is actually needed. There's a lot of conversation from a business perspective about being product-led organizations. And to me, that's a product-led, consumer-led organization, one where you're very transparent, you're very open, and you're actually receiving feedback on the regular so that you're building what the pain point actually is. It can get really exciting to think about, oh, that would be so amazing. I would love that. But in reality, you may never use it. And what we want to help solve are all the pain points that lead up to it, because maybe that is something you would use, but you never get to it because these are other pain points that just get in the way. And so I just wanted to kind of share that when we think about roadmaps, which is why we'll do this on the regular, to share like what's updated in the roadmap, what's changed, how did we learn from something and adjust and adapt in that way, because that to me is ultimately how we get to what we actually want to create in the world, is that co-creation and that collaboration in that way.
The perfect way to say that, like, this is the first version. Like, there's been many iterations behind the scene, but this is the baseline that we're building from. And yeah, this will change, this will adapt. We will see where this goes as we move through each step and we move things around.
Yeah.
Because that's also part of the design, is the fact that we're building it simple and modular. The intention is that we can rehash and reconfigure things on the fly as we need to, not only for the design of the total product, but also at an individual level, whether that's the seeker or the catalyst. We can start to build and remix what you need on your dashboard, rather than everything being a very static, one-size-fits-all experience.
Yeah.
Because we know in holistic health that there is no such thing as a one size solution or journey for anyone.
Individual. Yeah.
Always
Love
moving,
it.
always moving. Yeah. Well, and I think to that point, like Evelyn said, this is kind of the first our full vision, and what we've been able to learn through the prior iterations and the one that is even live today has really helped inform this, right? One of the core frustrations has been I can't find things. And so that has really informed how we're thinking about the directory, how we're thinking about even the login from a seeker perspective. And I think that's really important to just remember that this version of our own iteration is built on real world experiences, and your feedback thus far, your frustrations, your annoyances, they are felt and they're echoed in my own right. But that has helped us say, okay, well, what is really needed here? What are the actual pain points for people? Utilizing different types of technology, utilizing different experiences, and how do we create the thing that is filling that gap for all of us? So I just wanted to make sure I mentioned that, because I think it's really important to also remember that this version is built off of that learning that we've experienced for the last year or two. Yeah. Yay. So exciting.